there'd be nothing. I remember my friends, he'd be out, they'd go out in the storms, and I'd say, man, you're going to get struck by lightning. He'd say, oh, it's okay. We got rubber tennis shoes on. I'm like, let me tell you something. You know what that would do? It would just melt that rubber. That's what it would do, along with you. They don't. It's misconception that the rubber is an all safety net for lightning. But I got to tell you, I've seen it just melt it down to nothing. So it's not.
You're talking about, if it can put a deep hole in a parking lot,
Yeah.
okay, and the hole itself was like about 10, 15 feet deep. I mean, that's like a bomb going off. If it hit you, even if you were wearing 10 rubber boots, it ain't going to do you any good. You know what? This is pretty lousy, wacky news tonight. You know that.
It sounds like it. What happened to Florida? They got shut out tonight.
Yeah, there's nothing about Tennessee, Florida, or Massachusetts, or any place tonight. I'm really despondent. I thought over the weekend something good would happen, but a lot of people heard this big crash sounding like thunder this weekend on Sunday, and that was because an asteroid just kind of skimmed our Earth's atmosphere and landed somewhere on our planet.
Oh, it did land?
Yeah, well, what parts of it did.
Oh, God. You see, it probably I'm sure it broke up some, probably. But, yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that. Maybe there was another one called the Christmas Star asteroid. It's to buzz Earth on Boxing Day, and that is on December 26th. And they're saying that, it could potentially be dangerous, but they're not saying, it's going to hit us or anything, but it's going to be close, I guess. I don't know if you heard anything about that one yet.
No, it's just a matter of time. As long as it isn't in my time, I'm not going to really worry about it. Yeah, you're a little bit younger than me. You need to worry about it longer than I do.
Oh, jeez. You always try to give me pleasant thoughts before bedtime, don't you, Gary?
Oh, come on. What was it, 9:16 your time?
Well, yeah. Well, on the 1 clock. The other one, I haven't turned it back yet. It's 10:16, so... It depends what time zone my house I'm in.
Yeah, it can really mess people. I wonder how many people got messed up going to work today.
I don't know. Why did we start that? Now, I was taught in school, they told us that the railroads was the one responsible for that. Do you know? What's your answer?
That's what I heard. But you know what? Okay, they do have a bill up in Washington State, California, and a few other states to get rid of it. Just why do we need to set the clocks ahead and back? Why don't we just keep it normal? I mean, what does it really accomplish?
Right, and I do believe that, because I got some friends in Arizona. I don't think they participate in it. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they told me they don't. Arizona doesn't recognize it.
Well, that'd be a smart move.
Yeah, it's annoying. It just is. It's annoying, but it does set you. I'll be honest with you, in the Midwest, where I'm at, it's depressing because the thing is, usually fall, winter months, there's a lot of days, 2-3 days a week. Usually it's dark and overcast, maybe rainy and cold. Now, you couple that with getting dark at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it's depressing. And then, especially if you've got things to do or you go to work, you get up, it's dark. You come home, it's dark. It works on your brain.
Oh yeah, it does. Now, what type of reports do you have on cryptids or UFO sightings or aliens walking down among us?
Well, here's one that I don't have a lot of information on yet, but it just came in. And again, all the reports that I have been talking about in the Rosemont, Illinois area. Well, this is coming from there also, from Lon, who was our guest last week. A winged humanoid, where'd it go? Okay, a winged humanoid accompanied by gray alien and 2 female humans were spotted in Rosemont, Illinois. And they're kind of researching that report right now, but it just came in. Now, that Rosemont area, I'm telling you, there's like 1-2 reports every week of winged cryptids, bat-like, Mothman type, kind of different descriptions, but they all kind of fit the same kind of profile if you kind of notice them. But there's something going on there in that Woodline area, in that Rosemont area. I'll tell you, there's still reports coming in. They're still investigating. I don't know what you think about it, but I'm looking forward to the final reports on that stuff.
Well, I would like to know, but it's so much of this stuff going on day in and day out. It's really hard to keep track of it. Have you noticed it has really been accelerating a lot?
It has, especially in that one spot. It seems isolated area, so that kind of makes me wonder. And there's other areas in the country too that has these like a rash, like a spike, like you're saying. So I'm wondering, is there portals there? Did they put portals there, or something happened there, and they're there, or what's causing it? But there's definitely a trend going on.
Well, there is something going on. And what else do you have in the news?
Mm-hmm. Well, another report just came in. A Bigfoot group observed in rural Perry County in Missouri. So, in other words, there was a group of I don't know if you call them Big Feet or Bigfoot, but as a group. But anyway, they were witnessed. And that was in mid-August, actually, but the report just came in. It said multiple Bigfoot sightings had been made in August of 2019. And let's see, it was a friend from Tennessee, and he went to Missouri camping out. 6:30 a.m. They happened to hear some noises and happened to look, and they could see a group of, I think it said four hairy conical heads and shoulders bobbing along the woods on the edge. And they had horses there, and they were acting up, because they must have got wind of them. But that was a brief sighting there, and that was in August. And that report just came in. But that was a group of Bigfoot. And I often wonder, too, even in your encounter and other people, when they see one, I often think that maybe there's one or two that you can't see. That's what do you ever think about that too? Sometimes
I think a lot about it. I think like Bigfoot. Again, I think there is a population of them. It's not anywhere near what Bigfoot hunters think there is. I got a funny feeling maybe this whole country-wise, maybe 1,000 or so. Maybe I'm wrong, but who am I? I'm just a talk show host.
Right. Well, we don't know. I have read a lot of reports and some research that they think to establish a breeding population has to be somewhere between 2,000 to 6,000. I think it said across the country, which I guess that makes sense. But I've often wondered too. And you ever see some of them tracks? Some of them are like deformed. I wonder if there's some kind of inbreeding going on with them, maybe too, and it maybe causes some genetic defects, and maybe that's why some of the footprints have 3 toes or 4 toes or something like that. Especially if they're close to our DNA, because what happens if humans are close inbreeding, it causes genetic effects.
Well, I got a funny feeling because they're not humans, they're not educated, that inbreeding probably is just as much as that you'd find with cats or dogs or bears or anything else. I hate to say it.
I think you're right. I've often thought about that myself, and I think that's very plausible. Absolutely. Yeah. I will say this too. This just came in. I don't know if you've seen this or not, but a crop circle appears bright green in an autumn field, and I don't know if you've seen a picture of that or not, but it's pretty bizarre. Like the whole field's brown, but the crop circle's all green, like it's been growing and rained on and everything. It's pretty bizarre looking picture.
Well, you know what people need to do around these crop circles? They need to check for mercury. Because, a lot of reportings of landed UFOs, they say that's always mercury droplets around where they have landed. It makes me wonder, if a UFO is doing these crop circle things or whatever. I'm just wondering if anybody's checking for mercury in the field where this is happening for mercury. If not, maybe they should.
I know, and you know what? I've been trying to research into that, and it's like I can't find enough information about it. And you bring up a good point about that. I've also seen with them crop circles where they've tested where it looks like something has blown out the joints in some of the plants from inside out, some kind of a energy or something. In other words, because if you're just smashing it down, you're not going to make it pop from the inside out like some kind of force. I've seen that on a few different ones that they've tested and researched. So there's a lot going on there. I do know this. If I had a bunch of land in the UK, and that was an area where there was a lot of crop circles, I would put me out some trail cams and stuff. Maybe might catch something.
Well, you might. I don't know. It seems like a lot of people really don't catch anything with the trail cams. I don't know. It's really hard. I mean, to find one when you're looking for it is not going to happen. It's when you're not prepared. That's when these things happen.
That's true. Probably 99% of the time. That's like, you think about all the trail cams that's out there everywhere trying to catch Bigfoot or whatever, and how many really catch them. I don't think anybody really. I mean, maybe a glimpse of something with hair. It could be a bear or something, but really no really good pictures from a trail cam.
Well, yeah, the same way with UFOs. Have you noticed the people, put up pictures, the real ones? Very few, I think, real pictures ever show up anywhere, because you know what? When you see something like that, or if you see a Bigfoot, you don't think about, hey, grabbing your camera or grabbing your cell phone and taking a picture. You got one thing. You're in shock for a few seconds. That's what happens. So most people, by the time they realize that, hey, I should have took a picture, it's too late.
And I can validate exactly what you're saying. Just last July, I was just taking a walk up I only live a couple blocks from my little store. I went up, walking up there. It was middle of the day. Something told me to look up, and there was a cigar-shaped UFO. I mean, going fast, way high up in the sky, and I didn't even think to film it. I wouldn't even I did take pictures, but I wouldn't even have thought of that, except I just happened to have my cell phone in my hand, and I was in such awe of it. And then once it was gone, I was like, why didn't I film that? I was in just too much shock.
Well, that's what happens. People go into shock, and then they miss the great picture. I know I have, and I think a lot of people do. I'm just amazed how some people can get pictures of aliens or UFOs on a regular basis. They just point at something and have a picture. I don't know how they can do it. I just can't figure that out.
I don't know. I mean, some people try for a lifetime, be lucky to get a few things. I mean, I know in investigating with the spirits and stuff, I see a lot of stuff, but usually I get called in because I'm helping somebody specifically because they've got something there. It's not like I'm trying to find something. It's already there. And sometimes we see it. Sometimes you get a picture. Sometimes you don't. But, the odds are more greater that I'll see something because we know it's already there. But when you're going out in the middle of the woods trying to find something, that's hard. And I don't know how some of these people see it all the time. I live in Bigfoot country, Triangle here, and I've never seen one. I've been out there, and I'm talking the middle of nowhere. Now, I did think I might have seen one in the early 80s. We don't know. 4 of us seen it. If we didn't see one, it was a 4-foot wide man in the middle of a cow field at midnight during a lightning storm, which I don't see was plausible. And we didn't stick around. We got in the car and left, but I can't say it was even a Bigfoot. Might have been a crazy big man. I don't know.
Well, if it was a Bigfoot, he was probably doing the smart thing, getting away from the lightning strikes.
Well, he was. There was that whole way down in that little valley was like on the side of a ridge. It was down in there was a cow field. The only thing down there was a probably 300 to 400-year-old giant oak tree, and that oak tree was wide. I mean, you couldn't even begin to put your arms around it. And he'd come out from behind it. And when that lightning was striking, it light up the area. And we was looking down there, and we seen it.
Yeah. Well, we'll be back in about 2.5 minutes. You're listening to James Chrisbaum, me, Gary, on Night Dreams Talk Radio.
Get uptight when reading all those faith-based books, all claim to get it right. In volumes of religious texts which have their own agenda, there lies a silver thread of truth mixed in with propaganda. Be careful what you say to those with whom you'll be at odds, who've taken on the dogma in the pantheon